I thought we'd do a little Cracker Barrel. The
Got
ticker
to.
symbol CBRL. It is up 2.25%. And you know what? It has had quite the year. I checked
Saw
this out on the
that,
chart.
yeah.
110%
Yeah.
higher year to date. Okay, so
It was really beaten down. So
it was beaten
Yeah,
down. That's
yeah.
a good point. So Cracker Barrel says it expects to meet or beat its full year revenue guidance. This is after divesting from its Maple Street biscuit business. It says that's going to help it focus on its core Cracker Barrel brand, and it expects that to improve profitability. It also did another thing that is getting investors excited today. It completed a sale leaseback transaction in which it sold 26 of its company-owned Cracker Barrel locations. That deal generated about $77 million in proceeds. It says it's going to use that to bring down its debt.
All right, you walk into the store.
Yeah.
You order the Country Boy breakfast
Okay.
with country ham as your meat. Now, the key point to this whole thing is the biscuits and gravy.
Got to do it.
And then you order, just bring me a pitcher of iced tea. I don't need the refills. Just bring me the pitcher.
Sweetened or unsweetened?
I go unsweetened. That's
Yeah,
how
me
I
too.
roll.
Credit, they said we screwed up. There was none of this obstreperous, they made some changes and they said, oops.
Yep, exactly. And
There
people are
was a
coming
lot
back.
of hand wringing. It was like, okay, back to what Paul Sweeney likes to
Exactly. There you go.
eat. Next.
Danaher, DHR, ticker symbol there, getting killed here, down 14.5%. That's on top of being down 12% year to date. Now, Danaher reported higher second quarter profit and revenue. They said it was driven by a strong performance at its life sciences business, and that prompted the company to raise its outlook for the year. But what am I going to say? The outlook wasn't good enough because
okay.
there are these lofty expectations. But Danaher's CEO, or Rainier Blair, crediting the quarter's performance in part to the company's life sciences segment. He said that a really strong quarter. They expect to exit this year at a mid-single-digit core revenue growth rate. But the stock, again, down, and other life science stocks are lower in sympathy. So Thermo Fisher, Agilent, lower as well.
All right.
Let's move on to Equifax, the credit reporting bureau. We all know it. The ticker symbol there, EFX, another stock deep in the red here, down 17% and off more than 30% in just the past year. So Equifax narrowing its earnings and revenue outlook for the full year after profit fell, and that's despite higher revenue in the latest quarter. So let's start with the positive. Revenue up 11%, topping analyst estimates. Company pulled in more mortgage revenue and saw strength across its business units, but it posted a smaller profit than a year ago when it had more shares outstanding. They said the lower profit tied to a higher cost of services that squeezed operating margins in some key segments. It also endured a one-time $40 million pre-tax charge from a legal settlement. I saw that in the report. So that's also putting some pressure on Equifax. Hey, do we have time for SpaceX?
Sure.
Please, always.
All right, stock up about 1% pre-market, finally, you might say, because it has been lower for 7 straight trading days. Shares at $121 each, well below that $135 share price it went public at last month. It has wiped out $1 trillion in market cap since its peak on June 16th. Remember that Falcon 9 launch carrying 24 Starlink satellites? It was aborted before takeoff on Monday. They're going to try to do it again this Thursday. But about 17% of SpaceX shares available for trading have been sold short. That is a high percentage that raises the chance of a short squeeze when bearish investors rush to buy the stock.
This is going to be one where just the sellers exhaust themselves.
Right.
And
I
and
agree.
then the people who own it, they own it, and they own Elon. And then that'll help it find its floor. And then if they want to own some more,
But it's
they can
not
buy it.
acting like, is this a long-term trade? I mean, is this a long-term stock?
For people who own it, yes.
Yeah.
It's going to trade like Tesla traded. So you just got to let sellers
Another
exhaust
Musk
themselves, and then that'll form the bottom, and there you go.
Yeah, I got to close 119.85.
Yep.
It's popping here this morning.